Hi, Alex here with Alex Spreadling Mixing. Um, I'm not doing a mix video today. I'm sorry. Instead, I'm going to talk to you about some very nerdy stuff, making my control surface work the way I want it to with my Brainworx plugins in Cubase. So let's take a look over at Cubase right here, and I've got this a single channel brought up, and you can see I can turn the fader up and down, and that works great. And I can turn the pan left and right, and that works great. But if I go to plugin control on my control surface, I can turn a knob, and it doesn't do anything meaningful. It turns this plugin on and off right there, and the next one turns the mute on and off right there, and then this one turns these banks on and off right there, and that is absolutely useless to me. Like, I don't care about that. I want to control this high pass filter and this low pass filter and this compressor and these EQs. Right? That's what I want control over. I don't give a heckin' dang about that or those or that or that or that. Like, those are just like extra stuff in the plugin that I might play with once every 1,000 mixes. So I need to reconfigure my control surface, which let's take a look at my control surface real quick. There it is. I'm using my iPhone. I need to get like a dedicated setup, but we can see over here, I've got access to all my different plugin parameters, and I can bank down and I've got more plugin parameters, and I can bank down and I've got more plugin parameters. I want to change these so that the first set is like the first things I reach for: high pass filter, low pass filter, maybe my compressor or like parameters on my EQ. That's what I want those things to be the first section up. Okay, so let's go back to Cubase, my plugin. Unfortunately, with Brainworx plugins, which I use primarily, if I go to this remote control editor, right, there's my first plugin bank. If I want to change that knob to, say, my high pass filter, it doesn't do anything. Doesn't matter what I change it to. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't save like that. So I'm going to control that or close out of that. What I have to do, first things first, and I figured this out last week after a lot of trial and error, you click that QC button. And now, instead of power, I go to high pass filter, bam. And let's just, for the sake of argument, let's make this low pass filter. Bam. Cool, cool, you with me so far? So that's high pass and that's low pass. If I go down to my remote control editor, it's now high pass and low pass. Success. So I can do this for all 8 of these banks to give high pass, low pass, high EQ, low EQ, frequency, maybe compression threshold and release times. And that's great. The problem is this right here only connects to my first 8 banks. I have no way to access my second 8 banks, which is not terribly convenient. So let's do this real quick. So I got my high pass, I got my low pass. That's great. I'm just going to bypass that because I don't use the gate on this compressor. I'll bypass the limiter because I'm probably not going to use the limiter on this compressor. You know what? I'll just leave that on. I'll leave the comp on. Right. The next thing I'm going to use probably is my. Actually, let's use my compressor. So I'll use the threshold. Compressor threshold. All right, and then I'll use the compressor attack, compressor ratio, and compressor release. I've got 2 more buttons. I'll leave phase right there because I use phase, and I'll keep output gain right there because I use output gain. Okay. So now, if I go into my insert, using my control surface, I can control that, I can control that, I can control that. I can turn my phase on and off, and I can mess with that fader. And that's a good first step. Like that's a good first channel. But now I want to do my second channel. I want to control all of my EQ parameters with that next 8 bank. So I go down to this remote control editor, and you can see it's all saved right there. If I hit that little plus button, it adds a new page. And this is absolutely completely editable. So I'll make this my high frequency gain. Where is it? High gain, bam. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. I can't edit that. Still, here's what I have to do. I hit this little plus button, and I just pick any one of these. It doesn't matter. I find out where my high gain is. High frequency, high frequency, high frequency. High mid gain, high mid Q. High band, high frequency, high gain. And I copy this cell, and I paste it right there. That's my high gain. I want my high frequency now. Done. And then I use the Sheen. I don't use those. I don't care. I don't care about those. And then I would do my high mid frequencies, my low mid frequencies, and my low frequencies. Right, all right here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I need, 10 things? So I'd probably do my low frequency right here. And then maybe I do the peaks. The Sheen. Yeah. So high frequency gain, high frequency peak. Copy cell. Copy, paste, and then I do the same thing with the low, and then click apply. So now I go back to my controller, and I'm on that, turns that on and off. And all I have to do is just bank back and forth, and everything is right there. Compressor. So you can make this quick controller, remote control editor thing, do exactly what you want to with whatever Brainworx plugins you need to. Now I am using a Mackie MCU Pro control surface. This probably will be useful if you're using a plugin controller like the what is it? The CS12, the Nectar Panorama CS12. I've seen some reviews where it's like, these controls are laid out stupid. And it's because of this, right? This is a stupid layout, right? You need to fix this. And for some reason, only Brainworx plugins that I've tried this with, this is the only company that has these kind of locked in how they are. And you can't just change them on a whim. Whenever I had my old computer, Waves plugins, I could edit these all day long, and it was fine. Every other plugin company I've tried, I can edit these all day long, and it's fine. But this is how you have to do it with Brainworx, to map these plugin parameters to the remote editor so that any control surface with plugin control will see these banks as those. If you're using the PreSonus fader port and you're using the plugin parameters, or you're trying to control plugins with them, this should work for that as well. Yeah, so it's kind of tedious. It is super nerdy. But if you want plugin control using your control surface with the gear that you have available, this is the way you have to do it. I've tried using the remote editor down here, wherever it is, media remote editor. The problem with using this is, depending on what control surface you're using, I was trying to use a Korg Nano control a while back. And I could build maps for specific plugins. But if I wanted to open up a different plugin and use the cork to control it, I would have to come down here and I'd have to remap it, or I'd have to pick whatever map I wanted to use. And that just was cumbersome because I use a handful of different plugins, and I didn't like doing that. But just go through and map the remote control editor in Cubase beforehand, and it will map perfectly to whatever controller that you're using, and bank over and bank over and bank over. So that's it. That's all I've got here. I'm going to probably do like a more thorough video on the MCU because I've found that it's a really, really fantastic controller and gets me a lot more hands-on with my mixes and just settings in Cubase. So if you are interested in that, let me know. If you're not, sorry, I won't do it then, I guess. But thank you. Happy mixing. Happy 2026, I guess. Take it easy. I've been Alex.